Hello and welcome to day 4 of your onboarding. We're getting really close to being done with your program and getting you ready to start. Make sure you watch this video and then reply in the messenger so I know that you've watched it and check it off on your calendar. Okay, so starting off, I have a couple things to go over with you here on nutrition. Keep in mind, nutrition is going to be at least 70% of the progress you're going to make. So if there's one thing you really want to focus on, it's this. I did make this guide for you guys called Intro to Tracking Macros, and I can show you where to find the guides as well. So Intro to Tracking Macros, essentially when you sign up with us, you are signing up for a customized experience. All of the meal plans are specifically made for you, and that's going to be based off of your client consult form that you gave me with, the foods that you can't eat, the foods that you like, the foods you don't like. Um, and it will be according to your macros. So I do use like your body stats for that as well. So make sure that you're actually inputting your body stats, your weight, your photos, because I am going to use that to help tailor your meal plans. Um, One thing that I really like to do in the meal plans is I like to break it up according to your schedule. If for any reason you feel like it's too difficult, please let me know and we can get you something that's a little bit easier for you, like grab and go foods. But starting off, one thing that I teach all of my clients is how to track their macros. Your macros are macronutrients. Essentially, they are your carbs, fats, and protein. This is very, very important if you do want to progress and you do need to know what you're eating. I tell everybody tracking is not forever, but it is until you can figure out how to eat and until we can repair your metabolism. So think of your body like a campfire. If you were to stop putting fuel or food in the fire, basically what happens is the campfire is going to burn out. It's just going to lose momentum. The more fuel you're putting in or food, you're actually keeping that fire going and it's going to get brighter and stronger over time. It's the same with your metabolism. You cannot burn fat if you're not fueling properly. And one of the biggest reasons for weight gain and inability to lose weight and fat is due to not eating enough, contrary to popular belief. Um, Anyways, as far as your macros, I urge you to read this full guide that is on your task list today as well. Essentially, I talk about macros, I talk about like different forms of protein, carbs, and fat. They are made up of different grams. Also, you can find more info in the welcome guide as well. This is kind of going over how I calculate your guys' macros in case you're interested, as one of my goals is to educate you so that you know what you're doing even without me. Um, so, anyways, alcohol. That's one thing I did want to touch on in here. So, can I drink alcohol on the program? Answer is yes. Typically, we tell clients it's okay to have one day of like a couple drinks. I always have a couple tips here as far as aiming for clear liquids, trying to reduce the amount of caloric consumption. But I do want you to know that alcohol will diminish your gains and it will really, really um, it will kind of stunt your growth as far as progress goes. So it's definitely something you would want to limit if you are someone who drinks a lot, or let's say the weekend comes around and you're like a weekend drinker and you go crazy. I don't want you to ruin your progress. So I do want to let you know that up front. You can still drink on the program. However, if it's something that like gets out of hand, we probably need to have a talk about it because it is going to ruin your progress. Second, you should have already hooked up MyFitnessPal by now. If you don't know how, there's some instructions in here as well as the welcome guide. Make sure that your diary is turned on to public. You can do that by going to your settings, your privacy, your diary settings in MyFitnessPal and make it public. You also have been given a food swap guide. I can show you where that is, as well as a meal prep guide. You can find these links in the Facebook group. But essentially, this is learning how to read a nutrition label. This is going to be like the basis for all of your success in any program is learning how to read a nutrition label. So take some time to read, to practice. When you go to the store, look at the labels. Do keep in mind like the serving sizes. Also, I think another common thing that I see is a lot of women are not realizing maybe how much they're eating in certain demands. So, for example, like if you were to measure 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and see what it actually looks like, you might be realizing you've been having 5 tablespoons this whole time. So that is a reason why we do that. I will also mention in here about cheat meals. Can I have a cheat meal? As a general rule, the cheat meals are going to be assigned by your coach, me, in this program because they can skew results, especially if there's too many variables. I need you to be sticking to your program. I need you to be tracking your macros or eating from your meal plan very consistently before we can even talk about adding a cheat meal in. How I kind of calculate calories in is through a weekly basis. So let's say, for example, you're hitting all your calories and macros all week, but then you go have a cheat meal and you have 2,000 calories extra that week. That's going to obviously skew your results and set you back. So make sure if you're like dying to have a cheat meal, like please ask first. Also, keep in mind this is not a restrictive program. So if you want something and it's killing you to have it, I would prefer you to just have it in moderation rather than telling yourself no, because that's going to create a cycle of like binge eating. So keep that in mind. You can always fit stuff in your macros as well. Um, Also for nutrition in here, I am going to show you what I want that to look like for you. I do want you to have at least 3 servings of daily greens as well as fruits. You can use supplementation for one of those each, but the other ones should be from whole foods. Other than that, there's a little bit of info in here on syncing. If you still can't get your app hooked up, please let me know. This is what the nutrition looks like, the nutrition center. I look at this every time I do your guys' check-ins. It will tell me how many meals you logged. It will tell me your nutrition goal. It will tell me your weekly calorie consumption, your weekly macros breakdown. I will show you what the near perfect graph looks like. This is my client, Karen, and this is her nutrition graph. Notice how there is no gaps in here. She's not tracking some days and then not tracking others. I can see every single day in here, and the yellow means she has hit her goal. As you can see right here, her goals are very specific to her for protein, carbs, and fat. If you are not consistently tracking like this at least 70% of the week, keep in mind, I cannot change anything for you. There's no point in changing your macros if you're not hitting them because I don't have that variable in order to like program for you and know what you're doing. So please make sure you're tracking at least 70% of the time. As far as foods and what you're actually eating, the way that I can go in and look at that is through MyFitnessPal. That's why your diary needs to be to public because I will be looking in here as to what meals you're adding into your diet. If I see a lot of stuff in here that are not entirely like meal related and they're just like a bunch of random stuff, we're probably going to have a chat about it. But please make sure you're prioritizing protein, at least like 20 to 30 grams in every single meal, and you're spacing protein out at least like every 3 hours or so. Nutrition is going to be very tricky. Just keep in mind that the macros might be really hard for you at first. I don't expect you to hit them perfectly right away, but I do expect you to try and I do expect you to track. If you are eating the meal plan we gave you, I want you to practice tracking the meal plan. Sometimes there are issues with MyFitnessPal and Trainerize having a little bit of discrepancy. Pick one or the other. Make sure in MyFitnessPal you have the setting turned off that automatically adds calories if you exercise, because that's just going to keep adding calories onto your day. If you're not sure what I'm talking about and I see it in there, I will let you know. But that's all for nutrition, you guys. I know this was a lot of information today, so please go review the guide that is in there on macros and also go review the other guides as well. Last but not least, I do want to show you where those files are located. So if you go to the Facebook group under files, here is where you'll find all of our files. There are also some extra things in here that you get just as a bonus for being in this program. Anything we create while you're in the program, clients have full access to. Feel free to download a copy. There's an It Girls Guide to High Protein Dinners. There are recipes we'll put in here. There is a holiday cheat sheet. There's the Intro to Macros guide. There's some gut health stuff. That will be under files. Also, under guides, you will find all of our stuff. So, for example, you'll click on it and you'll actually go click on the intro to guide. And right here is the Google Drive link. Just copy and paste that into your browser. So there's the welcome guide. If you ever lose these, by the way, the tracking macros, here's your meal prep guide. You'll just click it and you'll copy and paste that into Google Drive. There's also a food swap guide for you that's very, very helpful, and a macro-friendly recipe guide and a supplement guide. But that's all for today. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to throw it in the Facebook group or message me back.